Orchard, and I teach ag in the classroom in Lawrence County. Hey, Amber, can you tell us what the word agriculture means? Agriculture means anything and everything that has to do with farming. The people, the animals, and the food or crops that farmers grow.
Hi, so I'm Karen Black from Apple Hill Orchard, and we've been here since 2000, so 20 years, and we grow apples, peaches, cherries, plums, pears, and nectarines here at our orchard.
That's quite a bit.
That's a lot. So we're right now standing in a little bit in of our apple trees. I have over 5,000 apple trees, and we have over 2,000 peach trees here.
About how many acres is that?
We actually grow really close together, so it's only in about 15 acres.
Okay, and if you guys remember, 1 acre is the same size as a football field. So at about 15 football fields, you have all those different varieties of apples and peaches and other types of fruit.
Right, yes. So they're grown about 5 feet together, so we can get a lot in 1 acre.
Can you tell us where you're located?
We are in Bruceville, Indiana, which is just a little bit past Vincennes, right on Highway 41.
Okay, so a lot of my students don't realize or don't really know, how do you start a new apple tree? Do you just put seeds in the ground, or is there another way that they do things here?
Yeah, so probably 100 years ago you could plant a tree from a seed, but everything nowadays is done by a sapling or a graft. So we do get them shipped to us from nurseries that do the start for us, and then we plant them. So they come in extremely little, and then they end up being big trees. They are grafted onto rosebush roots. So that's kind of crazy. A lot of people don't realize that roses and apples are in the same family.
Yep. Yeah.
So the reason for that is to make the tree stay smaller and not have a 40-foot or a 50-foot tree anymore.
Okay.
So we can have smaller trees where we don't have to get up on really tall ladders to pick. So the rosebush roots will help the tree stay small.
Okay. And you mentioned picking. Do you guys pick all of your apples by hand, or do you have any?
Yep, everything out here is done by hand. So that includes our peaches during peach season, and our pears, and everything else. Everything is done by hand.
And do you have a crew that does that for you?
We have several pickers.
I was going to say, how many people do you typically have in your crew?
We actually only have about 3 or 4.
Ah, that's impressive.
Yep, but everything is done by hand. So all of our mowing and everything is all physically done.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a farm for you.
Yeah, that is, exactly.
Okay, so we know that you start with saplings that have already been grafted. Once you put that sapling in the ground and you've planted it, roughly how long before you guys can harvest apples?
Sure, so it will get, of course it'll get maybe 1 or 2 apples hanging on the tree after about 2 years, but it will take about 5 to 6 years for you to produce maybe a bushel or more off the tree.
So we have been going around Lawrence County and we're asking farmers, how do you know it's time to start harvesting? So we're going to ask you, how do you know it's time to start harvesting the apples, and how do you do it?
Sure, so our apples, we have 41 different kinds here that we grow, and they ripen from July till actually the end of October, 1st of November.
That's pretty wide range.
There is different times of ripening. When you see an apple on the tree, it doesn't mean it's ready to pick. So actually the best thing to do is you go out and you cut the apple in half, and if it's nice dark brown seeds, then of course you do the taste test and make sure that it's ready. Apples have a starchy taste to them. So the too much starch in the apple and not enough sweetness, then it's not ready. It needs to stay on the tree a little longer.
So if it you take a bite and it tastes a little bit bland, you know it needs to ripen a little bit longer.
And just like if you at home, kids, if you cut an apple and it turns brown really quickly, that's the air getting to it. And if it does that really quickly, then it's not quite ready. There's a lot of starch in the apple.
Okay, so it's actually the starch that makes it turn brown.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about how you started Apple Hill Orchard?
Sure. So my father-in-law is actually a lawyer in Vincennes and wanted to start an apple orchard. He had apple trees growing up and always wanted an orchard.
Okay.
So this land came up for auction. This is actually one of the highest points in Knox County, which is very good for airflow in peach trees and apple trees. So we started that way. My background is in bakery and management, so I run the building.
That's where all the good donuts and pies come from.
We do have a bakery inside that we use. So we use apples and peaches and anything that we can't sell. what we call unsellable fruit.
Okay,
and
yep.
we use it in our pies and all of our goodies inside.
That's what we used to call jamberries on
Yeah,
our
there you
strawberry
go.
farm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us come here and for sharing your knowledge on apples. Guys, if you have any questions for me, or if you have any questions for you, can they drop a comment too?
Oh, definitely. And thank you for coming. I'm glad to have you guys. And all you kids out there and parents, come and see us here at Apple Hill.
All right, until next time, guys. See ya.